Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about something fascinating. I feel like this is one of the most fascinating things from my new book. I just finished writing. It is soon to be published, and it's called Astrologer's Secrets: My Tools and Techniques that over my 40 years of experience as an astrologer that I have discovered. And I think it is really probably the culmination of my career to finally write this book that I give all of my secrets, everything that works. And really, some of this even comes from Western astrology, from what I've learned, but it's all combined in this one book. But one thing I ran across that I think you will find just as fascinating as I do. You don't even have to be an astrologer to see this. And I call this fatal attraction, because what I'm about to talk about and what I'm about to show you is going to be how when you see Venus, by the way, is the planet of love and romance, right? But in Vedic astrology, we're always taught that it's the wife in a man's chart. But putting it together with Pluto can be devastating because, well, and here's another issue at hand. Many Vedic astrologers do not use the outer planets, but I do. They work. As a matter of fact, I wrote an entire series on the 3 outer planets and how I use them in Vedic astrology: Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So you can purchase those books off Amazon. Go check it out. You can actually go to my website where I have all of my books listed. Now, my new one is not out yet. It's being edited and prepared, but it's coming out. I will let you know. You can rest assured of that. But go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org, and you will see the 10 books that I have previously written, and the one coming is going to be my 11th book, my Astrologer's Secrets. And another thing is, while you're at the Galactic Center website, galacticcenter.org, remember to check out my new magazine. It is an amazing magazine, comes out every month, only $9.99. But if you don't want to join the magazine, sign up for my free newsletter. You'll get all of my predictions delivered to your email address, absolutely free every month. And one last thing, I'm getting ready to start my first semester with the university. I have the most stellar university. It is a community of astrologers. Join. My first start date will be January 25th. Don't miss it. It is an amazing community of students and astrologers that we talk about all of these things I'm about to present to you. So let's go back to fatal attraction and what you're going to see. This is amazing. So as I said, when you put Pluto very close to Venus, you're going to find that, of course, everybody that has this is not going to have anything as catastrophic as actually the 3 people in my book. But I find it very unusual that all 3 people have the same aspect. And that is where Pluto is within 2 degrees, no more than 3 degrees from Venus. And so the first person I want to put up is Phil Hartman. Let's put up Phil Hartman's chart. Now, many of you that are old enough will remember that Phil Hartman was on Saturday Night Live. He was an amazing comedian. Did you know that his wife shot and killed him one night while he was sleeping in his bed? Now, I talk many times about Pluto being betrayals. And this is like the deepest, darkest betrayal. Somebody that took your life when you were sleeping. She was in a drug-induced, whatever, crazed experience, and I'm sure there was lots of mental disease going on, but she shot and killed him and then killed herself. And the whole story is in my book on Pluto. But this is where my secrets come in, because this exact aspect, if you will notice in Phil Hartman's chart, he has Pluto in Venus. Pluto being almost 23 degrees of Cancer, and Venus is 23 degrees of Cancer, less than a degree. They are conjunct. In the 7th house, no less, which is what? Marriage. Now, you may say this is a betrayal, but don't forget Pluto is also the planet of death. It is relative to everything that the 8th house is about. The 8th house in astrology, Vedic and Western, is the house of death. And Pluto is the planet in Western astrology that is said to rule Scorpio. Now, we use the old system where Mars rules Scorpio, but regardless, Pluto has these very deep, dark energy of death, major transformations. So sitting on top of Venus in the 7th house, this was death. This represented death, betrayal, deep, dark stuff, with Pluto being here. Now, if that isn't enough to convince you, let's put up the chart of Maurizio Gucci, who is the son of the founder of the incredible line of purses and belts and accessories. Gucci is an amazing, high-ranked quality product. Anyway, we all know Gucci. Never mind with all of that. So Maurizio Gucci, if you've seen the movie about him that tells his life that came out a few years ago, he was murdered by his wife. She hired a hitman to kill her husband. Get a load of that. Realize this too, that Gucci was born, let's see, Phil Hartman was born September 24th, 1948. And Gucci was born September 26th, 1948. So again, we have the Venus-Pluto conjunction in Cancer. Venus is 25 degrees and Pluto is almost 23 degrees. Within 2 degrees that we have this Venus-Pluto. Now, there was many people born during those years, and of course they weren't murdered by their wife. But this one sits in the 1st house, and remember that this Pluto and Venus are looking by opposition to the 7th house of marriage. Now, I find that very interesting, and the fact that the Venus and Pluto, for those of you that know Vedic astrology, it does sit in the nakshatra Aslesha. Aslesha is said to be very underhanded and very sneaky, and you know, it isn't the easiest nakshatra, let me put it that way. But just to tell you, you know, that this aspect is always, now it may not be murder, but I will say this, whenever Venus and Pluto are conjunct or opposed, you may even look at the square aspect, but most of all the conjunction and the opposition that are very, very tight, what I want you to know, there will always be issues of betrayal in a relationship. Now, I know most of us have gone through issues of betrayal in a relationship or lied to in some way. All of us have probably experienced something like that in a lifetime. But I'm talking about deep, dark stuff. I'm not talking about the little, you know, stuff that we all kind of remember, but this is the deepest, darkest stuff. When somebody has Pluto conjunct or opposed Venus, these individuals will go through hell with betrayal. Yes. And for the most part, it will be relationships because that's what Venus rules. But it could be other things depending on where Venus is placed and what houses Venus rules. So this is important. I have one more chart. I wasn't going to share this one just because I didn't want to put everything that's in the book out there, but there's one more I found, and it is a very famous jazz player, died a long time ago. He didn't live too long because guess what? He was murdered too. His name was Robert Johnson, and he was from Mississippi, and his music consequently set the stage for many of the rock and rollers. So you probably didn't hear about him because he was born in 1911. And I don't think he lived past his 20s, late 20s with this event. But he was also killed, let's put his chart up, because of a woman. And if you'll look with his chart, yes, they changed to a different sign, but he has Venus within a degree of Pluto. Once again, Venus is 2 degrees and Pluto is 3 degrees of Gemini, and they sit in the first house. So they're aspecting by opposition the 7th house of relationships. But here is what's so important. He was flirting with a woman when he was performing, and it ends up the jealous husband murdered him because of his flirtatious attitude with, I think it was the husband or the boyfriend, but hey, another massive betrayal took his life over this. So I just wanted to bring out this amazing discovery that I made about the Pluto-Venus. And when I'm reading charts, it always comes out when I see someone with Pluto very tightly conjoined, and not even, sometimes it doesn't have to be this tight, but when it is, we're looking at some deep, dark betrayals, such as a fated life. But most of all, remember, this is pretty much a fated relationship that deals with deep, dark betrayal. Let's just say fatal attraction. Watch for this in charts. And I have so many of these incredible discoveries that I've made throughout my astrological career. So I'll be bringing more of these forward to you because I love to share. I love to share, and anything that can help us grow spiritually and understand our lives and why we are here, that's what astrology is all about. So be on the lookout. I will let everyone know when this book hits Amazon. Furthermore, don't forget, if this is your passion, something you love, you will want to take my university because you will learn to be an astrologer. That's my goal with all of my students with UVA, University of Vedic Astrology. Starts January 25th, the very first class, and that will be January 25th. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com and you won't regret it. You will love the university, you will meet other people, you will learn astrology, and it's so much fun and exciting as a community. So remember, go to my website, galacticcenter.org, if you want to buy the magazine or get my free newsletter, but the university is universityofvedicastrology.com. Thank you.